welcome to Challenge Accepted, episode number 15, the big 1-5. Welcome, everyone. Shriggs, welcome. Tyremus, welcome. Rusty, welcome. And a big special welcome to Mr. Anhrez himself, of course, wearing his famous hat that he is very much well known for. How is everybody today? Shriggs, how are you?
I'm doing fine and not making an alternate better for whichever server we may or may not be choosing to go to because it's getting really confusing. I want it to be over.
I'm sorry you feel that
Choose,
way.
damn it.
Okay, Tyremus, how are you? Your mic's still muted, by the way. Every show, at one point.
I'm okay. Yeah, all I had to do was make a crappy banner to get Shriggs to do his job.
Well, hey, you know.
He made a banner?
Yeah, he did. It's pretty horrible.
Link it?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty horrible.
You know what? You know what's good about it?
I'll get it
Done.
with my tablet.
At least it's not a razor. Anyway, Rusty, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, you mean this?
Funny anyway. Anhrez, how are you?
I'm doing great.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm excited to be here. We don't have much time left, people.
I know. One day and some
Just over
hours.
24 hours?
Yeah, like a little bit over 24 hours, which is really, really awesome. So yeah, but this episode we are going to be talking about crafting and well, the launch of WildStar. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but the game comes out soon, so 3 a.m. Saturday, my alarm's set, or 4 of them, depending on who you talk to.
0001. Saturday.
According to Cougar, yes.
Well, I mean, PDT is the only real time.
Oh, whatever. Shut up, you weird Canadian. Gosh. Oy vey. Anyway, so Anhrez, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, gaming-wise, and just kind of, I guess, shameless plug yourself.
Sure. So, early in my, in my epic MMO career, I realized I suck at everything that's not really considered a metagame. So, I mean, I'm not bad at leveling, but I'll never be the first to level 50. I'm pretty much will just fluff stats for anyone in PvP. I mean, yeah. But on the other hand, I realized that I really liked, as part of the things, I liked crafting, I liked gathering, I liked flipping the economy. I love creating alts that no one knows that they're part of my group or my guild, and then like flushing the auction house. I mean, like right before Christmas, back in WoW days, remember when people would go run and they'd move up all their small eggs and move up all the cookies? I would gather eggs all year round and then purposely flush the entire auction house just so other people wouldn't make money.
That's amazing.
Good man.
Because that's what an econ PvPer does. We believe that there is only X amount of money, and it's either ours or not ours. And so me keeping you from making money is like me capturing the flag in Temple. That's kind of how we play.
All right.
And,
so you're
I'm excited for WildStar because I feel like it's got a lot of features for me.
Well, of course it
Yeah,
does.
definitely.
It's the most feature-complete MMO release ever. I mean,
Wow, you pulled that right out of your hair.
I know, right? Just randomly. How could I have thought of that on my own? Yeah, but okay. So, and you were a writer and a super.
Yeah, so I write for WildStar fans.
Yep.
I
.net.
occasionally stream for them. Yeah, I occasionally stream for them. I have a couple other activities that will be announced. I believe one will be announced Saturday that I'll be a part of that I'm very excited about. I mean, I'm sure you guys will jump on. It's really fun. It's really exciting. Kind of a new site, new spin on WildStar content. And then, I also do some work with mods and work with websites from a data standpoint because, you can't corner the market unless you understand the market. So I also do a lot of, coding development.
Okay. Wow. Very nice. It's very cool.
Wow.
So it sounds like that you and Mr. Tyremus would get along perfectly because Tyremus does a lot of coding himself. So
There you go. Yeah, we'll have to talk. Yeah.
I work in programming, and I'm a sysadmin by trade. I guess that'd be the best title they give me. My title officially is IT specialist, which means
Nice.
if it has power, It's your problem.
Nice. It has a cord. Who knew? Yeah, it's like
Right?
Stay out of
we
my
just finished
profession.
launching. We just finished launching our website at work, so I had a hand in converting that from our old website into the new
Wait,
one.
can we go flood it?
You
Quick,
can try, but
quick.
it's not gonna.
Quick, everyone,
It's
go
not gonna
flood.
fly.
No. Shriggs, what happened? What needs to happen is we need to mention it on the co-optional podcast and get 16,000 people to all hit the website at once, and then the website will crash.
I'm
you
sure
could
I
do that, or there's just a couple of apps that I'm sure Tyrannus knows of that would emulate
That's true.
16,000 people from a single site and just hide their IP address. But I mean,
Yeah,
No.
Or we could go the illegal route. I mean, whatever.
it's true.
I know some people in
We
Anonymous.
have a really good server. I'd
That's
be
what
really
everybody
surprised,
says.
but
That's a great thing. So I've got to ask, what server are you guys going to be on? Screw
We-
this. Screw this. Banner this. Banner that. Is there any news? Are you guys going to break news or not?
We don't know yet because we're waiting on a certain someone to tell us what server everyone else is going to. So
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like even the Carbine staff, you get a hold of them, and they're like, "What server you guys go on?" They're like, "Oh, we don't know."
We don't know
You know,
yet.
I mean, so everyone is like it's like a giant game of not it.
yeah, we've officially, unofficially announced that we're going to be on Pago, but that all depends on where everyone else is going.
Sure.
So-
Well, at least you've announced PvP,
Yeah.
even if it's on the wrong side. You've
Well,
narrowed it down to 3 servers.
That's okay, because I feel like
It wasn't my fault. I fought long and hard to get us onto the Dominion, but they wouldn't bite.
What a traitor. Absolute traitor.
Oh, shut up, you little crybabies. Jeez. All right, so Mr. Anhrez, you are a pretty well-known crafter around these parts, and it is kind of come to my attention that you did a AMA recently. Why don't you walk us through the purpose of that and what you hope
No,
that
that's
actually kind of helped players do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, a lot of the main components of WildStar have had their dev speak, and so a lot of us in the community have been yelling, "Where's our dev speak? Give us our dev speak!"
Right.
And we got the ping saying, "Hey, listen, we only have time and resources to do so many dev speaks before launch." Crafting, though we find it's important to us, it's not a major game mechanic like PvP, arenas, etc.
Right,
it
right.
really is a offline, non-combat filler time.
Right.
So a group of us were like going, "Hey, we need to answer some questions because, in my opinion, as important as having enough a really good queue for PvP, we need to make sure that the materials are flowing in and out of the economy, so people have a reason to gather. They feel like there's a reason to have a profession. If you can find no reason, even as a casual player, to have a profession, in my opinion, the economy's failing. It's not even the mechanics. I mean, look at World of Warcraft. If you look at the crafting and most of that, that's just a click it and forget it, right? I mean, there's not a lot there other than back in the day we used to sneak into a certain 5-man dungeon and use a specialty table. There's not special, I mean, occasionally there used to be some quests. Now they took a lot of that away. So if you can't come up with a reason while everyone should craft, then you have a challenge. So we a group of us just wanted to start promoting it as much as we could. I think there's a lot of great things about it. I think there's a lot of great things about it that most people don't know about yet.
Right.
So a good example is Accptd. When everyone thinks Accptd, they think of, "Oh, great, I can make this lovely sofa." And that is right. You'll be able to make some amazing decor items. But when you get down to the bottom of the Accptd tree, you've got a choice. Are you going to make war plot things at the end, or are you going to make high-end decor items at the end? And if you make war plot deployables, what the fuck are you making? I think you're making Gatling guns, laser cannons, and minefields that your teams can drop in the middle of a 40v40 Death Fortress match.
Right.
And for all I know, I can make the difference. So I just think I'm excited about crafting. I feel bad that the crafting team and the econ team haven't got as much love out of Carbine as they could have so far. And my hope is that groups of us, as we get excited about it and we talk about it, they'll realize that it should be in the next 2 or 3 queues for Dev Speaks.
Okay. So on that topic, Shriggs, what do you think about the lack of love that kind of has been pointed out here by Anhrez? Do you think that we're going to see some really cool excuse me, crafting stuff come in the next couple patches once launch happens?
Well, you see, here's the thing. I don't craft. Ever.
That's
Ever, 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 ever.
okay. So, all right, Tyremus, same question.
Well, I'm kind of interested because the mechanics are really in depth. And the last time I played a game where like mechanics for crafting were complex was when I played Eve, obviously. And I mean, I had 5 of us. We had a secondary corporation, and we ran a 7 moon mining operation that the 5 of us did by ourselves that pulled in 2 billion ISK a week. So it was a lot of fun, and it was something we could do, and it would augment PvP, and it made a big difference. Now with the whole architects being able to make the plugs and things like that, I think that's kind of interesting. The fact that the architect can do housing things, and I feel like the housing is going to be one of the things that advances quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what really happens with the rest of the crafting, because I have a feeling that they're going to end up having the architect as being the like, you want to make money, you want to do anything, that's going to be the most interesting role. And I kind of dabbled a little bit in it, but I tried to avoid it because it was going through so many changes that I was just I didn't know what to do. I did watch you did it. I did watch a bunch of your videos and a lot of your casts. So like I have a good idea of how it works. I just was kind of waiting on that. I think he's right when it comes to the economy and getting that flowing. One thing that seems in WildStar is that money like means something.
Yes.
One of the problems with World of Warcraft is that gold means nothing. Like all it does is allow you to do armor repairs and buy them out, and every now and then buy a new flight skill. But like for the most part, money in that game is very irrelevant. Maybe some like you're spending on mostly like consumables and things like that. But if you craft, you don't even have to spend it on those things. You could just go out and get the mats and then do it yourself.
Yeah,
so,
that's actually a really good point, Tyremus. Like, the gold in WildStar definitely means a lot more than it does in like really any game. I mean, I think the closest game that it really kind of came to was Guild Wars 2. Like, it's still pretty easy to get money in there. But
one of the weirdest feelings was walking through the town, and I looked at all the vendors. And you know when you look at vendors in like other MMOs, and you're like, oh, a bunch of whites. Why would I do that? But it's pointless waste of money. And I was like, these aren't whites. They're greens. They don't have any stats on them. What is like it's like a couple gold. I'm like buy, and I'm like, holy crap, this is an upgrade. And then I went around buying a bunch of things, and I'm like, some of these don't even. They're horrible. Some of these are awesome.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was able to like go in and play the vendor roulette, which is
so real quick. I was going to break news for you guys here.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you've gone in there, you see there's a special tab when you go into the vendor, right? There's that special tab.
Yeah.
Now, if you go in and find vendors that have special tabs, each vendors have a window of special reset related to them. Once you understand that window of reset, you can pop zones and steal all of the special items that they're listing and move them up on the auction house, so you can put your margin on top of what could have been found from a Joe Schmo in Aurea. Now I can drop it on the auction house for margin. And if you're not there to grab it, it's just like the old Dark Moon Fair. Too bad.
Quite a lot of the excess cooking, like the better cooking patterns or recipes or whatever, are from doing that. I noticed a couple of them. I was like, oh, hey, this is really good. Like you could make, way better buff food with this. And so I don't know. I'm really interested about the crafting, especially the room crafting. It being a necessity of the game.
So, Rusty, have you had a chance to dabble in the crafting at all?
I did.
What'd you think
I'm
of
an
it?
engineer. I was technologist.
Delves into that?
Yeah, go ahead, Triggs. What's up?
Yeah, Rusty, I just explained that I never, ever, ever, ever craft. Part of this is because I always say, I want to level first. I'll do the crafting when I get the max. And when I get the max, I don't want to go back to do crafting. I don't want to go back to Goldshire or what have you.
Right.
Is there anything about the crafting in WildStar that's different from the other games that will have people grab it, start on it when they're low, and do it while they're leveling, and not say, screw it, I just want to kill some dudes in Quest. I
I think it was easy as you leveled to pick up a profession that was like a collection one. Like it took technologist, so you make stuff. We also take the one where you pick up the Elden things on the ground, and it throws Relic Hunter. That's right. And it throws all of those on the mini-map. So usually they're around wherever you're going to quest anyway. So you just walk by and it's just something else to loot. And since it doesn't fill your bags, it never seemed like something I didn't have to do. And as a scientist, I was running around collecting lore anyway, so it was in the areas. It just seemed simplistic.
I went with an architect and a survivalist. Now, I have a real gripe about the survivalist. I'll say that in a minute.
Boring profession.
Yeah, but I did the architect and survivalist because they kind of go together, and I felt the same way. Like, you just, like, gathered mats, and then at one point you were like, oh, I'm going to go down, and then I made a whole bunch of stuff for my house, and then that was my experience with it. And then after a while, I was just vendor trashing everything because I needed money for amps. But one of the things that drove me nuts about that skill is, like, the mining skill, they turn into little animals, you get warped into the thing, you have, like, this interesting experience with that stuff, with doing it. The Relic Hunter, same deal. They turn into robots, they fly up, and they do all the stuff, they have an interesting experience. You know what you do when you cut down trees?
Cut down trees.
You're a lumberjack, and you're okay.
You get a laser chainsaw.
Yeah, you know, and like, I get that you get more mats because when you kill animals, they give you the carcasses. They give you.
Did you notice that it takes more experience per level for survivalist?
Yeah,
they've also backed in more because they think, well, you're getting so much experience by just killing random mobs that give you fur and pelts that you get free XP in your ongoing leveling. So they've actually nerfed up the amount of XP to go from tier 1 to tier 2 in survivalist versus tier 1 in mining and tier 1 in relic hunting. So they're really aware that you get a kind of a pass. It's not the same pass that you get as a
I just don't understand why they couldn't have, like, those flower guys, like, why they couldn't have just made the stems.
They could have dropped a stem. They could have had a stem dragon spawn on occasion or something like that.
Yeah, no, I just think that, like,
we've bitched about that a lot. And
or maybe good. Or here's an idea.
The funny thing is like the same thing with hobbies though. I would point out that WildStart crafting is good for casuals and high-end people. It's great for casuals because, like you said, as you're gathering, you can stop at any moment in time, empty your bags, craft up what you want, and if you can use it, great. But if you're a hardcore person, you're doing daily work order quests because you need work orders as your currency to get end-game gear and get in-game schematics that can only be earned at level 50, and they take 15,000 20,000 work order equivalents to get a single pattern.
Oh my gosh.
So it has the same PvP-ish grind for high-end craft or for in-game crafting as it does to work the queues and say, oh, I need to get my honor, I need to get my prestige. So it does work for, in my opinion, it does work for casuals, but if you're a high-end crafter and you want to make those crazy blue level 50s with lacerate as its and really good gear, you're going to have to bust ass and take names. You're going to have to hit your weekly, your daily work orders in the starter zone, in the second level zone, in the third level zone. You're going to have to travel every day.
That gear, something, do you know if it's BOP or like BOE?
All BOE. Every piece of item in the game so far that I have seen is BOE, including purple that I crafted. So
Anhrez,
there is
how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that kind of takes away some of the individualness of crafting?
Here's the thing. Selfishly, it hurts me because I'm a high-end crafter, and high-end crafters like BOPs for your crafting specifically for you, because if I'm willing to spend the time and effort, let's say Alchemist back in World of Warcraft, if you bust ass and take names as an Alchemist, you get something special that's only you can make for yourself. On the other hand, the BOE concept means economy flow, economy churn. You guys can give me stuff. I can spend my work orders. I can get your patterns, and I can sell you back a blue that is as good as you can get heading into the veteran level of 5-mans to get yourself tuned up for raiding. That makes me relevant, and so relevance to me is important in in-game for a craft.
With that said though, with the cred system, that means that it's potential to buy in to veterans.
It is and it isn't, except that if you buy into veterans, you still have to go enough of it. You can't buy into attunement.
Right.
So sure, you can
That's
buy
fair.
into veterans. Yeah, I mean maybe you can. I think you can buy into veterans with enough money in World of Warcraft, but you can't buy into
Yeah.
attunement because you've got to go through the chops. You got to get your elder gems, and you've got to go through the attunement steps to get into that raid. So people say, hey, it's pay to win. No, it's pay to place. To win, you've got to finish. It's like it's like the old Kentucky Derby. There's a win, place, and draw. So to win, you've got to be finishing the raids. If you want to place and say, oh, I'm good enough to do veteran 5-mans, well, okay, then buy your way there. You're not really in gaming all the way.
This is also interesting to me as well because, like, I mean, the flip side of that cred thing is also true because you have when they first announced cred, I was like, well, I mean, this is pointless. For the same reason because I mentioned before with World of Warcraft, gold means nothing. Nobody wants gold. Nobody has gold. Nobody wants to sell cred to get more gold.
Right.
So with that economy, like, how are they going to incent people to be like, hey, let's buy cred and then sell it back to the community so the community gets those things so people can actually have this tool? And I mean, if crafting does create usable BOEs that are good, then you're creating an economy on the auction house that's better than like random drops around the world. Like, I mean, there are good random drops.
And again, a good example is there's some high level PvP gear that can be made via crafting. You can go and earn the badges. You can go in and earn the PvP material that's specific that you gotta buy with PvP points. You can come to a crafter and say, "Here's my PvP tokens. You use your skills as a crafter, combine them with these PvP things that you can only get." That's the aggressor piece, and boom, now I have PvP back to you. So it is really one of those pieces where raiders are going to bring in materials from their faucet. PvPer is going to bring in materials from their faucet, and the crafters are sitting at in-game, hopefully we're relevant, and there's a reason for us to go out and churn our work orders, etc., because we have to bring something to the table just like to you guys to make the good gear.
Okay, so we had a couple. We had a couple of questions in chat here. The first one comes up from, gosh, I'm gonna mess this up horribly. Tyra, I'm gonna call you Tyra because I can't pronounce the rest of your name.
TRLE.
All right, so they ask, what is a good suggestion to go in with tailoring and cooking? And the next question that she asks is crafting going to be profitable, and what will I make to use? So, Anhrez, I'm going to defer the expertise to you.
Sure.
No, not TRLE.
I would go, if you're going to go tailoring, I'd go survivalist if you're focusing on cooking. Because you're going to have to kill tons and tons of mobs anyway to get the meats that you need. So meat is an easy way to level up cooking. Therefore, with survivalist, you also get bone and stuff like that, trees and stuff like that you can sell off to architects, which architects are going to need it. Bone is extremely rare. So if you think of high-end bone, that's like getting a gem out of a mine. So if I'm mining a node and I get a gem, hey, that's a good thing, right? That's a rarity. That's what some of the bone is for survivalists. So I think that if you're going to do tailoring, one, you're going to have to be one of those, don't just sell off every piece of cloth you have, every drop that you get. You need to salvage, because that's how you're going to get the highest percentage of your cloth is from salvaging. Okay. That's your quote-unquote gathering class. And then you need to take a look at kind of what backfilling. If you chose cooking, survivalist makes sense to go along with tailoring. You'll have secondary stuff to sell off. I still think you'll make good money. I mean, if you look at the end game level 50 cooking stuff, there's a lot of effort in it. You actually have to go out and earn rep. Didn't you guys do enough rep to go in and take a look at some of those cooking schematics? Some of them are fucking crazy.
I hit 50.
You have to really work hard.
You get
You have to work hard to get them.
from them.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is architects. Like, I can imagine they'll be rather profitable because no matter how much people generate the products that they generate, they're consumables, every single one of them, and you're always going to need more. Like, if you make a wooden plank, I mean, somebody might need 200 of those. like every time they build their house. So
And again, we haven't heard from Bitwise. You know, when that person built the house, not using a house, but he built a house out of using small components in a subplot.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Just like EQ Landmark. So just like building that piano or building that giant skate park, there are going to be people that need a lot more materials than it takes to build a fence. And so there is going to be people that are master craftsmen of housing things that aren't architects themselves.
Right.
And that's
And
gonna
I believe there's going to be a high churn of certain things.
that's going to ramp up too. The more people run out of things that they feel are the primary things they need to do, they're going to start turning to the things that are not the same in other MMOs, and they're going to be going, oh, hey, you know what? I want to collect all of these costumes, or I want to go build the coolest house to ever. And then that's when they start dumping tons and tons of money into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, housing, I think, is going to really definitely be a money sink. So if you go, like, the architect route, I think you're going to make a lot of money. I mean, obviously, that's the profession that is kind of like that time sink for money sink, I think. I mean, I don't know, Anhrez, did you think that, like, just from, like, my personal experience, architects and I think tailors are probably going to make the most money for crafting, you think? Possibly technologists?
I think tailors are going to have a great margin because there's just so much crap that falls. And so they're going to be, if you're a tailor, you have a free gathering slot.
Right.
So while I'm gathering and selling my mats, the stuff that I don't use and the other stuff I use to craft, you get a free gathering slot as a tailor. If you want to dump that on the market and just be an ass about it, God bless you. I hope you do, because it's free money. You know, I mean, it doesn't help you. You don't gain anything by not having a second profession or a second gathering skill. So you might as well, as a tailor, have something that's fun, that's interesting, and that you end up selling off or parting off to your guildmates. So the one thing that we didn't talk about around the housing, I love where you guys' heads at, is, you know, they dropped guild housing just this last week over in Europe during the interview.
Wait,
so we don't even know what. We don't even know what that comes to.
How did I miss that?
Yeah. So they announced guild housing. They're working on it. It's not in at launch, of course.
But
oh my God!
Imagine now I've got a whole new place. It's going to be larger. It's going to be more impactful.
That's
the
awesome.
Architects, who knows? Coordinated multiple architects. Who knows what's going to happen?
I really wanted the whole like apartment building kind of style thing where everybody, where you like you can put down a plot, it builds an apartment building, and everybody gets a room, and then you can like, or like a guild hall or whatever, so you can have that, like everybody can customize the bedroom, but like, you know. I think that'd be really cool.
They snuck that in there, didn't
but
they?
again, selfishly, I like my plugs because I don't know about you guys, how many of the plugs that you guys played with there. Some of them have some fun buffs.
Some really
and then
cool
some of them
things.
have some really good, like the thicket and the mining. So has any of you guys, have you dropped in one of your gathering plugs and then allowed a friend to come in and gather?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
actually, me and Shreeks
really nice.
had...
I set mine to public, and they get like 25% of the spoils.
Yeah, it's nice if you get like a harvest one or a or a garden. I think is one of the other. Those are nice because like I never touch them, and people would just come in and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick all these plants for you." I get mail, and it's like, "Hey, someone went to your housing plot and picked your garden for you." I'm like, "Thanks."
And then when you go back, it's all regrown, and you can farm it again.
It's great. Yeah, it's excellent.
So that's the plug replacement that you guys were talking about for Architect too. Is that, sure, you get level 1 thicket or level 1 whatever as you're doing quests as an individual, to move it to tier 2 to tier 3 and tier 4, to move it to places that are relevant for your guild and friends to come in and mine, you're going to have to partner with an architect to get the stuff.
My partner managed to get to tier 6, festival, the purple one.
Oh my god!
And you have a stage and like a disco platform. It's actually pretty cool.
And the drops from it, the stuff that you pick up for food and buffs, they're relevant. You know, they're relevant to the game.
So
they've really tried to make sure that things in the game are useful and not just, you know, why bother, right?
Sure.
Now,
Anhrez, do you feel that any of the do you feel that any of the crafting professions are weaker than the others? Like, you know, we're talking about the architect like
Good
crazy
question.
and the tailor, but
Yes, I do. I'd have to say, if you do the math, and I apologize for doing math this
That's
late in the
okay.
game.
Oh, you can do as much
If
math
you
as you
do-
like.
If you do the math, Weaponsmith seems very potent, right? You get 6 classes to sell, plus you get weapon attachment. So that's 7 things that you can craft. But when you look at an armorer, a certain tailor or a certain armor smith, let's say armor or medium, you only get so many pieces of their clothing, and you get how many people use that pieces. So the armor smith has more individual slots to fill than an overall weapon crafter, unless you count weapon crafting as, well, I can craft a sword that is for a tank or a sword that is DPS. If you start getting that nuance, things kind of balance out for the amount of things that you can make. I do worry about the impact, because I've not seen high-end raid drops yet on what type of legendary. Can we make the pink dough? Can we make the orange dough? Because yes, we can make purple things. Yeah, that's doable. That's not a problem.
Right.
The challenge is that once they're in their raid progressions and they're in and coming in and out every week, are we still going to be able to create a couple of things that are better in slot, not best in slot, but better in slot, that still keeps crafters relevant for the first tier 1 and tier 2 waves?
Right.
Because that's where you make all the money. Because who's got all the money? The
I
people
think that
are
might
playing
have to
40
be
hours a week.
that might have to be a decision of how they handle the upgrade of the profession or upgrade of the gear in the game, like the actual gear progression. So like, yeah, maybe you might not be relevant to once people start to get really geared in raids. Like that 20-man, once they start to get 20-man gear, that's like crafting gears just means nothing compared to that. But once they drop another raid and then another one after that, you're starting to see a little bit more things you can craft in the game. Because that's something I've noticed in a lot of games where crafting doesn't really upgrade. I mean, like in WoW, you got the whole like, oh, now you can do another 150 points or whatever, and
Right.
you go do it. But like the items that you got meant like you were still far exceeding these items. They meant nothing to you. They were for like newer players, and
that's a really relevant concern. But have you guys, when your guys' crafting experiences, as you were leveling, because you guys are talking about, if I'm a crafter and I'm leveling, did you feel like there were things in that you could, not counting housing, it's not like you get I'm going to drop myself this warm water spring here as I'm getting my ass kicked by this giant bull or whatever. But other than that, did you find things that you were crafting that were relevant to you as you were leveling?
Yeah, I did the weaponsmithing for one of my characters, and I mean, like I made a couple of things, but I mean, like I said, I gave up on the crafting pretty early at that point because I was leveling to 50 on my main, and that was an architect. But
Rusty, you said no. Why?
The items I made, I used. So,
Sure.
but if I did a challenge, those items were exceeding it. But any challenge items seem to just destroy anything else in the game. Like those items seem to be the
if
ones
you got
to
the
have.
lucky roll. You had to get to the far right, though. If you got to the middle tier and low, then
it was just like
it was a toss-up, right? The only thing I have with that is many times I'd get those good items, but the stats are randomly rolled at the time that the item is created. And so it's like, well, is it better to have plus this stats versus the plus stats that are specifically tuned to you? And yeah, I mean, again, back to the thing, I would say that my hope is that we're going to find some in-game housing items or war plot items that come from the other crafts.
Yeah.
So if I want a mannequin to hold all of my armor, why couldn't an armorer make it?
Right. No, yeah, I would definitely agree.
If I wanted a weapon, if I wanted something to hang my epic weapon that I'm no longer going to use because I got a better one, but it was the first one I made and it was awesome, why couldn't a weaponsmith make something that then would go into the house?
Right.
So my hope is that as they expand, there's some secondary relevances for everybody because, again, Architect does seem like they've got kind of the pole position for best crafting long-term relevance in the game right now.
Rusty, you said no. Why is that?
I did, I only could go to level 30. And so I went Relic Hunter and Technologist. And by the time you can pick a profession, Technologists can only make a few recipes and potions. They're low level to begin with. You start with level 1 potions.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
A little silly for a level 10 to be making level 1 potions. And then the next tier up is level 5s, and then level 10s But by that time, you're in your 20s, so you're always
Always
behind.
You're chasing, except for gadgets. Did you make any of the level 24 gadgets that were relevant to you?
Couldn't make any gadgets by the time the open beta closed. But the other issue was, like, I was concerned because the technologist didn't seem like it didn't seem like you were going to be as relevant as the architect as the armor come in.
The technologists, though, like they make those buff potions.
Yeah,
don't
they make potions,
and
Yes.
those are crazy relevant because like those
They can be.
They can stack on top of the food.
But
Sure.
what they were saying was that come raid time, it was said that you will not have to go out and farm for all these recipes. You will not need potions to go through their raids. So it kind of takes some of that hit away from.
I don't believe that for a
let me
second.
caveat that. Let me caveat that and say they say you don't need it because in some of these devs' minds saying, well, how hard can the raid be? Well, I suck at raids. So if I'm gonna survive better doing that horrible dance of avoiding telegraphs, an extra 10% of my grit may be the only thing that keeps me able to be in the raid.
Right.
Because
That's
after
true.
I die so many times, I don't blame them for kicking me to the curb. I really don't. A guild needs to have some damn wide shoulders to carry my ass through anything. So there are going to be plenty of us that are less skilled that may need to crutch a little bit on those types of things.
Well,
and there's again, you may finish the raid without needing any buffs. Did you get gold in that run?
Right.
Without any buffs.
Well, see, I mean,
that's the thing. So
right.
If I don't get attunement, if I don't get a gold, so yeah, we can easily survive it. But we had a couple people die. You know what? We're not going to die this time. All you lazy ass, weak clothies, are you're going to go buy yourself some pots and you're going to stay alive so the guild can get a gold.
Right.
Because you got to get attunement. So I think, you may be able to make it through it, but there's a lot of other nuances related to did you do it good enough? Fast enough to get gold, because if you didn't get gold, you don't get to advance down the attunement channel, and that that in itself could, how much is that worth? Because these are the these are the guys that are making all the gold. So what's gold to them? They need to spend it.
I mean, like as far as the technology route is concerned, it's pretty much the alchemist route of crafting, and that's usually what I'm pretty much the potion guy. And, I mean, as far as you don't need potions for raids, I kind of call BS on that, because people that are going to want to min-max, they're going to want to min-max no matter what the devs say. So even if they don't, quote-unquote, need them, they're going to be like, well, yeah, I want an extra 2% of my DPS or that kind of stuff. They're going to all the top guilds and all the guilds that are way past you in raids, they're going to either have someone that do that for them in the guild, or they're going to be making enough money to go and buy all your stuff. And, I mean, like, if we look at that kind of stuff, like, I think the gadgets are where they're going to shine, because the gadgets that they can make are just ridiculous. I think they're excellent. Have you seen
the sprint gadget, the little clock? So back in one of the early CBTs, right, before they really tuned Willatinki Temple, Blank Space, great guy, great PvP.
Yep.
So he had the sprint clock and a go juice, and they hadn't turned it off yet.
That's right.
He would grab the flag, drop a go juice. It was like Roadrunner, meep meep, and then everyone would be gone behind him, and then he would drop out of his go juice, and then he would hit that, and then he'd get another sprint. Before he came within range of anyone, he was already dropping off the flag. So again, we don't know what the combinations are going to be. I think when I look at some of those telegraphs, you may be carrying 4 or 5 gadget with you that may not even be in-game gadgets, but the guilds are going to learn the path of least resistance. And it's like, hey, everyone throw on your clocks. This is the one where we have to sprint from point A to point B across the room to avoid this.
Right. Yep.
So, I think technologist is the biggest wild card to me besides rune crafting as profitability. I feel that there's profit there. The nose smells profit, but until the raiders tell us what the consumables are going to be like, I couldn't bank on it. You know what I mean? I think you're Rusty. I think you're right. From what we've heard, they're not creating dependencies. The devs aren't saying you've got to do these or you're not going to survive.
Right.
But again, our raiders are like, we want the fastest, we want the first, we want this, and so they're going to over prepare. And so is there going to be money in me capitalizing on their over-preparedness damn, I hope so. I really do, because it's like as soon as they get that on farm, then I'll just buy, as I like to call it, a raid boss safari. And so I'll drop 20 plat, and some 20 man will just walk me through all the raids. I'll get all the drops that I want, and then I'll go back and spend a month and make another couple 30, 40 plat, and then I'll pick some other raid. And it's like a safari tour with a camera. You know, it's like, oh, so that's that boss. Hey, guys, kill him. I want to see it. Awesome, thanks. That's great. What do we do next?
Little big game
This
hunting.
is great. Yeah. So that's how I end game. Is
You're gonna kill
I
your
take
guild,
play.
dude.
Anhrez is gonna go in and go, hey, what's this button do? And everyone's gonna go, no, and he presses it, and everything just goes up in flames, and they all die. And
Yeah, again, you got to be on farm before you bring me in, or you're so desperate.
That's
you're
awesome.
Gonna fail anyway.
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, you know, it's a really interesting topic, crafting. I mean, there's just so much things that we can talk about, so much things that we can cover. But I wanted to ask you a couple of specific questions there,
Sure.
Anhrez. I know we've actually kind of covered a lot of these already. But what aspects of WildStar crafting do you find most innovative or interesting?
I'll say it right now. It's overcharging.
Okay.
I think
Explain
it's
overcharging.
Okay, so overcharging is where you separate people who are casually that says, here's a schematic, a sword that makes a +1/+1 sword.
Mhm.
So if I have my materials, I drop in a power core, I put in chip A, I put in chip B, tap, 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 tap. I have no chance of failure, and I'm guaranteed a +1/+1 sword.
Mhm.
Where someone like myself is like, screw this, there's going to be like 40 +1/+1s on the auction house. Who's going to buy my sword? What if I did this with this power core? I have a 37% chance of failure, but now the same schematic, which looks awesome in your hand, is a +2/+3.
Oh wow.
And sure, I'm going to fail, but I'm bidding in failure to my prices.
Mhm.
And if you're that type of in-game min-maxer, well, +1 or +2 here. Wow, that seems, well, ooh, that gets me to this level, this tier. Oh,
Right.
and so the ability to take a risk, I want risk and reward. I want to take a risk while I'm crafting, and if I fail, so be it.
Okay.
On the other hand, if I take the risk, I price that risk into my end result. Damn it, if I stick the landing, I want a great item and I want something I can sell. Because way back to Star Wars Galaxies, you didn't go into the town to find someone to make a blaster. Oh no. You talk to people. You looked at somebody who shot a blaster that was awesome and say, where'd you get your blaster?
Yep.
And I got it from this obscure person, clear across the blah, and he only does this, and he's only on like these 3 hours of the day. And you traveled to find the
Yes.
best of the best crafter.
Right.
And so I believe that with the ability to use talent trees and overcharging, I think that you're going to be able to see the same weaponsmith going to be specialized enough that weaponsmith A is different than weaponsmith B. And weaponsmith A, if you want the best tanking sword, it's going to be somebody who's spec'd for melee weapons. He's going to be spec'd to have extra rune slots. He's going to be spec'd to be able to overcharge at less penalty, and that person's going to make 7 or 8 of those until he sticks the landing on one, and that thing is going to friggin' shine in your hand. And that's the person. It's like, I want to be that person. I'm willing to spend the time.
Mhm.
I'm willing to spend the time at the crafting table, and I'm willing to spend the cussing and the crying and the gnashing of teeth as I fail miserably till I get that one that's like, oh, I'm gonna make
So
I'm
much
gonna
money
make-
off of this, yeah.
I'm gonna make Rusty pay so much for this sword, it's gonna make
I
me
will.
hurt. It's gonna
I
make
love
me
spending
hurt
money.
inside, but he will, because it is the best one that he can get outside of a veteran raid, and he's not gonna walk in to a group going on his first veteran raid with the best equipment he can get.
I'm a total filthy casual, so I totally will be buying that.
Absolutely, and
Don't you touch me.
You
Absolutely.
filthy casual. Watch WildStar actually pointed out something really good, that we can get every profession and every crafting skill. So, Anhrez, my question to you is, first of all, that works, it's like every 7 hours or something like that. You have to wait.
Oh no. See, they tell you that, but they don't really tell you that.
Oh.
So every time you change, it's longer till you can change again,
Oh.
and more expensive to change.
Oh.
So, yeah, I made the wrong choice. I'm a weaponsmith. I want to be a technologist. Great, here you go. Oh, here's a small penalty. Go learn. Do it again and do it again. During CBT, I think last time it cost me 100 gold to change.
Oh my gosh.
And I was trapped for 7 days before the new trade skill would come in.
Wow.
Holy
So,
crap.
you know, sure, you may have 4 or 5 skills behind you. Walk in and go, I'm an expert technologist. Poof. No, I'm an expert weaponsmith. Poof. No. Oh, God, no. And I'm glad that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to commit. You know, my father-in-law is he's retired, but he was an amazing hardwood floor guy.
Mhm.
Truly an artisan, right? And even to this day, if I ask him for some stuff, I know he'd do amazing work, but he's not as good doing woodworking as he was 20 years ago, and he was doing it every day.
Right.
So in my mind, if you're going to be best of the best, and if you're going to be truly the artisan, the expert, then you need to be focused on it. And so by making you step back for a period of time as a penalty to change, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm all for it. Not to mention you have to waste work orders to make it change on your talents too. And so it's, you spend work orders foolishly, you're not going to have enough to buy those high-end schematics and those
Right.
high-end materials you need to go forward.
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept because they give you the option, but then, like you said, they really throw it in your face and go, okay, well, you want to change professions 4 times, then okay, that'll be a month-and-a-half waiting period. Have fun.
Nothing that far
Right.
so far. But by
So
God,
far.
if they're going to make you change. So I think their concept is that if you figure out later in your career that you want to be something different, then be something different.
Right.
And if for some reason you need to swap back, you still you still don't forget patterns. You still
Mhm.
don't forget what you've done down the talents. It just takes money, time
Right.
to recreate where you were.
Kind of like the real
when you
world.
decided kind of, yeah.
It's it's kind of funny that they've really tailored their game around the quote unquote non-casual gamer, and I say that in like big air quotes because like even if you look at crafting, it is essentially pretty hardcore because you have talent trees for crafting. No one's really ever done that before, to my knowledge. You have different schematics that you can only unlock through certain like time frames and whatnot. And then you have all these different percentages to make something better, or completely lose all your rare mats that you just tried making this awesome sword. And it's like, oh, by the way, that failed, so you get to go farm for another week for that one item. Have fun.
Yeah, you drop in a dual hybrid core. So it's a level 50 blue power core, right?
Right.
It gives you a lot more power than the standard Star Short core. Oh, it looks like I just dropped, but that's right. I'll keep talking. So the trouble is that by default you get an extra rune slot in your item.
Mm-hmm.
So you drop that in and try to min max, you could be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that is really interesting to me because, like, I'm not a big crafter myself. I'm like Shregs, where I'll get to level 30 or level 50, and then go for the profession. Now, like with alchemy, since I'm going to be a technologist, I like just having that kind of potions readily available to me, even if they are low level. It's annoying. What's up?
You guys need some advice, like the both of you.
Why?
If you're gonna do that, take 2 gathering skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's not a bad
as
idea.
you level, and because this game allows you to hack at them with your weapon to actually blow it up or cut it down. As long as you have them as your 2 primary skills, you're always gathering, and then that way. It doesn't matter. You can sell your mats, do whatever you want with them, leave them in there, and then vendor trash anything. Because at the end of the game, you're going to be a high enough level to just go in and be like, oh, I'm going to go farm the end level zones and then like do the stuff. Whereas if you do it the other way around, you're going to have to go back to the zone 1 and be like, where are those stupid nodes? And run around. And it's actually more frustrating to do it that way than it is to just grab
just do that
2
to help
gathering
our
professions.
crafters in the guild.
Yeah, that's another good one. You want housing stuff. You can take survivalist and mining and feed all of your crafting mats to the person doing architect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anhrez, your webcam seems to be having a stroke.
Yeah, I see that. I'm taking a look at it right now. I'm still listening to Doug.
That's okay.
Give us some air.
That's okay.
Call 911.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as crafting goes, Shriggs, what profession are you looking at to actually do once you hit max level?
I'm probably going to take technologist just because I am an engineer.
There we go. Okay. Now, do you think that you will see a difference in your leveling style if you take 2 gathering professions, or are you just going to go level and not really get any nodes or anything?
Well, no, I think what I'll do is whenever I see a node and I'm on a quest, I'll drag the enemies I'm fighting over to the node and kill the node while I'm killing the enemies.
That's actually a pretty good idea. I've done that before. Now, one thing I'm curious is, Anhrez, did you ever come across any PvP when you were trying to gather nodes or anything?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay.
Oh, did you fight people in the caverns with the mines? Because I did that.
Yeah, here's the thing. So when you talk about worm tunnels, they are locationally spawned.
Oh.
So if I and Rusty are on opposite, factions, and we're in
Which we're
Whitetail,
totally gonna be.
and we both pop a platinum worm tunnel in the same plus or minus 2-minute window, we could spawn in the worm tunnel against each other, PvP flagged.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's so great.
Even on a
here's the
PvE
thing,
server?
all you're doing is dragging and defending each other around each other, trying to have the other person hit nodes too, and you're vacuuming as you're fighting because you hate to waste a worm tunnel spawn.
I love it.
Because this jackass won't just let you be.
That's kind of neat because you can fight over it. That's dope.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, it is. It's an interesting concept. But
See,
PvP is going to happen. It's going to, it's a lot of work.
My biggest disappointment is on my stalker. I can't like sap somebody, steal their node and run off. Because I used to do that all the time in World of Warcraft. I was such a dick.
Can't you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean technically you could try tethering them, but if they have a CC break, they'll be able to get out of it. So.
Yeah.
Oh man, Frost just posted 3 minutes ago. They have the Hot Pepper Gaming team coming to do their live stream with them this weekend.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's going to be so
that
awesome.
can only be good.
That's awesome. Very nice. You heard it live here on Challenge Accepted.
Ghost
That's going to
Pepper
happen.
PvP.
Oh my god.
Please have a ghost pepper.
Oh yeah, I would love to see like Pappy or someone take a ghost pepper.
Frost has done it once before, I think, on their YouTube channel.
Yeah,
yeah.
he did a second one. You could have seen him. He's like, "Oh, this is really bad." Well, maybe I'll take another pepper, and maybe
This is
that'll
how
make
excited I
it.
am
He
for
bites
Wild
into it.
Star.
That is the dumbest idea I've ever done. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it was
So it's like it goes like this. I'm excited for Wild Star. Maybe I'm not that excited.
Yeah, the halfway through, I'm gonna do something nobody does. I'm gonna take another one. That was
horrible
good.
idea.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think,
go ahead.
Honestly, I think for you guys, the biggest thing to think about for the difference is, are you leveling or are you sprinting? So if you're sprinting, the concern about going back to areas and stuff, it's a valid concern.
I don't mind
but-
that though.
But if you're going to sprint and go back, you got to do the work order quests there anyway, because work order quests level you in your profession quite well.
A lot.
So
yeah.
you get 3 quests each day. So even though you're level 30 and go back to Feral Plain if you're on Dominion, there's 3 starter quests there that you get XP for your profession by doing. You also are required to craft items, so you get crafting XP.
Does that scale with your level?
It doesn't. It's the same. You know, it's declared what it is. So if, like me, I was able to get to level 15 and craft in-game items. So I would have people, help me get to in-game zones and then take, and do quests, because again, it's just whether or not if you're level 12 but you can make a platinum sword, you can make a platinum sword and turn it in for that thing. So it's not a level requirement. So if you're that type of player, if you like to play a Risk and craft outside your level, that's great.
Awesome. Very cool. So I think we've exhausted everything that we have on our show notes here for...
None of this stuff is on our show notes. What are you talking about? Our show notes are completely
I
different
highly
than this entire
respect your
thing.
show notes.
No.
Right
Well
now,
done.
right at the top,
No,
we
no,
have an intro, greetings, banter.
So
Much banter.
Nailed it.
So, Tyremus, every time I start talking, you never let me finish my sentence. I was going to say, we've exhausted everything about crafting on our show notes. You son of a bitch.
No, you just said the show notes. You
No,
didn't mention
I wasn't done. Gosh, I hate you guys so much. All right, so, Anhrez, anything else you want to tell us
Baz,
about?
we need those lights.
Bite me.
You gotta add them to the UI.
Shut
I would say
Anything
one
else?
last thing. Do not ignore your hobbies.
Yeah.
Farming and cooking are extremely relevant. And if you find fishing as an interesting hobby, keep the chatter up. Talk to people in the community. Post about it. Let's give the crafting and economy team cover to let the execs at Carbine know that we find fishing interesting and it would be fun.
Oh,
It'd be a
fishing
great
would be
fun
fun.
minigame.
Fishing is
And
the best
if
thing
we
ever.
talk about it enough, then that gives them cover for them to work on it.
Yeah.
So I would just throw it out to the group saying, if you're one of those people like me that, what are you going to do before a raid? You might as well fish a little.
I
You know what I
fish
mean?
all the time.
That's what we'd wait. We'd wait for the ships at the Booty Bay and go,
Yep.
well, might as well throw a bobber in the water. You know what I mean? So if you're one of those people, chat about the hobbies and any other hobby ideas you have. I think that hobbies are a great place that we can expand. I think music would be an amazingly fun
cool.
hobby. Think of all the housing mechanics that we already have that's dealing with sound.
Pyromancer.
What if sounds created a buff?
So
Just
you're
like
saying that you could subclass Bard.
And what would their weapon be?
Oh,
Axe.
man.
That's an axe. Yeah.
That's Arcage does that, don't they? All of their healing buffs are musical instruments that each class gets to play.
You play a musical instrument and it
Which
does
is pretty
buff.
cool.
Just a thought, but I mean, if you're a hobby person like me that use it to backfill time, I think there's something to be said.
Well, speaking of fishing, that was actually spoiled or kind of found in the data mining that people do, and
It was in at one time. They just took it out.
It's a fish
Because
cannon, like
I
that's
want it
just
so bad.
like I want to shoot fish. That sounds awesome. Oy vey.
Yeah, they said that they'll bring it back in when they can figure out a mechanic that seems
Suits Wildstar.
Wildstar-ish and fun.
Dynamite.
Dy-
Done.
Dynamite works. Yeah. All right.
End of discussion.
And that's very true. All right, so on that note, let's talk a little bit about here the live stream that happened. When was it? Tuesday, right?
Tuesday?
Now our show notes are relevant.
There. Shut up. Gosh, I hate you.
They've always never been relevant.
Yeah, well, all right. So
Always never been.
always, never been. Right. All right. Anhrez, did you get a chance to watch the live stream or watch the VOD?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the one thing that you took away from it?
I may be as good at dungeons as Tony.
That poor guy.
I don't mean to insult Tony that much, but I think I could pull a Tony on those. Just saying.
This is awesome, man. Like, I think you should join our guild, and we'll put you and Baz on a team, and it'll be the same skill level.
Hey.
Sorry,
Excuse
I
me.
can only go to a guild that's 99.9% one percenters because I bring the average down.
Oh.
So you know what I mean? I gotta go to a
We
guild
already
that's
got our one.
big. Wow, you've already
Yeah.
got your charity case. I need a guild with
Yeah,
huge,
no.
wide.
You heard it right
shoulder.
here. Our
Right here.
Henry,
Carry me.
Owen Baz and charity case.
Oh my gosh.
Carry me. That's
Yeah.
what I need.
I think something does need to be said.
You guys are a bunch
Tony.
of jerks. I'm not
No.
that. I am not that bad. Excuse me, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you are.
Wait,
Yeah, but if you're better than me, that's still not a very high bar. You should aim higher
Stop
than that.
setting for yourself.
I
As,
really,
have more
you
confidence.
should really aim higher than being a little better than me.
Well, I guess that's fair. Sure, why not? All right, so you guys are a bunch of dicks. All right, so the authenticator was announced, which is going to be using the Google thing, which actually reminds me I need to do that and figure out how to do
2%,
it.
It was
that's
so
an awful
easy.
lot, people. 2%, it's an awful lot.
Well, 2%
not
in
worth it.
everything, right? Like crafting.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2% prestige, renown, and XP.
Right.
So,
Which is actually a big deal.
2 currencies in your XP, that's good. That's quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, come on, 2% gold? No.
Oh
But
my God.
I would, yeah, that would be crazy. I would definitely suggest doing an authenticator because there is just such a big kind of deal going on with a lot of places getting hacked. eBay was just hacked, so if you use eBay, definitely change your passwords and everything. I heard on the news driving home, like 145 million customers have to have their password changed, which is like almost all of eBay or something stupid. But I'm just like, holy crap, because I've never used eBay. But I would highly recommend an A authenticator because I never really used one in World of Warcraft until people started getting hacked a lot. And as soon as I did, someone started to try and hack my account. And I was like, I'm glad I put one on. All right, that's good. I mean, it's free. Just search Google Authenticator and download it, and then follow the steps on the WildStar homepage. So, I mean, it's very easy to do.
I use it apparently.
Head Start. Cougar said Head Start is at a weird time because it's a global game, and they're trying to make it as neutral as possible. But the people who suffer the most are pretty much the East Coasters. Because,
like I said before,
yeah,
we just
Suck
kind of
East Coast.
dislike you. I mean, it's not. I guess it's dislike is a rough word. We're indifferent. I guess.
Okay.
It's
sure.
a level of indifference to the East Coast. We don't dislike you. We just don't take your feelings, thoughts, or emotions into any form of caring.
Oh,
Yep.
that's sad.
I'm in the middle, so I don't care.
Am I the only East Coaster on the show?
No,
Yes.
I'm East Coast.
Oh,
New
okay,
York.
yes! Rusty, we're brothers. And,
Yeah, we're neighbors.
Woo! Technically,
It
yeah.
seems we are no longer friends.
I was just up in your neck of the
Fair
woods,
enough.
Rusty. I was up in Albany for a week, and then a couple
Oh,
weeks
I'm in
later,
Saratoga.
I was in Binghamton.
All right, I'm 30 minutes north of Albany.
Yeah. Well,
Just by
I'll
the
have to go
racetracks.
back. I'll give you a holler next time I go
Yeah.
back.
That's too funny. You know, it's a really interesting concept to have when Cougar was up there. It was interesting to kind of hear how the back of the cables kind of work. Even Cougar was very open and honest with how things were running, which really again just kind of comes back to the whole open and honest kind of mentality that they have, which is just awesome.
From being a server person myself, and like what I do for a living, I found some of the information that he said rather interesting.
Oh, okay. So from your side, since you're like a huge techie and so is Anhrez, what did you get out of it, Tyremus?
Well, I mean, like he hinted at the fact that they've increased the actual size of the server capacity for what they do compared to what other companies do. Which is interesting compared to how many servers they've actually launched. That means that when you see that many servers, there's probably closer to double the amount of people that they're projecting comparatively that you would when you look at the same amount of servers on World of Warcraft. The other thing too is they used they've talked about it in a bunch of different ways. Like he's talked about it on Twitter, and he's talked about on when they first implemented it. They have the layered instanced system, so that when you're zoning in with each other in a group and you're in a town, only so many of you will show in a town on the same level, and then so forth. But the way that they've implemented it is rather interesting because they've done it more on a there's a main server, and everybody gets in that server if they're in an area of that zone that's far enough away from enough people. And then once you get close enough to enough people, they'll start separating them. And then if you're in a group, they'll keep that group together. And that was really interesting because it does it naturally. Unlike you look at like Guild Wars 2 is a good example of them doing it.
Yeah,
where
once
it's
you're
where
in
you
Guild
have
Wars
to
2,
choose.
yeah.
You have to choose where you are, and then you have to kind of queue into that. And then if you load into the zone, you're in that area. You don't pop around. And because of that, it has a more organic feel to it. You don't really notice unless you're looking for someone, and then you just kind of group up and join their server. But because of that, the population density as it grows and changes throughout the day. Not, and I don't mean like oh well, you know, 3 months down the road nobody's gonna be in that zone anymore. I mean like out the whole day. So if you're Oceanic and you log in the middle of the night, everyone's in the same zone and they're in the same server in the same spot, and nothing has to be done about it.
Right.
Another thing is the servers crash and they instantly spool up again. So
self-repair. That's an interesting concept.
yeah,
awesome.
and so I've noticed throughout doing the CTB and doing the beta that they've had server issues, obviously, and they've had other game issues, but the game is never really like you get knocked out of the game, but then you just log back in. And I've never experienced that with an MMO. Like a lot of MMOs that I've played, if you get knocked out of the game,
You wait.
somebody has to physically go to the server and hit the button, or they have to.
If you were
do
knocked out
something
of the
about
game,
it.
sometimes that whole zone was locked.
Yeah,
And,
you
you know,
had
in
to
World
wait,
of Warcraft, when
and
we were, boom, Stranglethorn Vale is a dead zone, and if your character's in that dead zone, it's not like you can take him back out. You know, it's you're there until the zone is repaired. You can't just, you know, oh, I'm at the login screen and I'm gonna return to Ironforge. No, you know, so yeah, I like the concept. It's almost like they're trying to throttle mid-game.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
no,
and
totally.
that's, you know, it's kind of a dynamic throttling model, and I haven't seen it
And
before.
yeah,
in a
and
game.
it is incredibly dynamic, and I find that really interesting because those are the kind of things where maybe it's a problem for 20 minutes, like there's too many people in that town for 20 minutes, but they don't want to like push people into other servers and then do stuff about like population density for 20 minutes and then have somebody dealing with it manually. The server just deals with it, and it's not a problem. You talked about the cluster server, or the major cluster server that they use with Eve, which I thought was interesting because I know all about that as well. But they still, I mean, as much as they say that they don't do that, they just have a bunch of those and they're much smaller. I mean, there's multiple servers make up a single server for a guild. We don't all just connect to one machine. But it was really interesting. Like they talked about the authentication, and you know, obviously we're gonna cover that, like the authenticator that they're coming out, the 2 form, which I'm happy that they're putting in. I'm gonna put it on my account, and Christina put it on her account, and then there's what was one other thing that was really interesting, beyond his military references, which were hilarious. Just like I can totally imagine. Button the hatches! Submarines down! Dive! Dive! But yeah, you know. And then the button thing was funny. I don't know. I had a lot of fun because the server is a lot. The server work is a lot more what I do as a career, and it's interesting to see how they do damage control. And he kind of addressed a little bit of that.
Their jerk logs looked interesting too.
Those were awesome. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I'm interested to see how well they deal with like gold farming and like things like that, and how well they do with like spamming and stuff like that. Like they've done a lot of the stuff they said, like you can't message until a certain level, like you can't repeat message so many times, and you know I was interested.
And they have a defined department called balance, so a lot of people don't know about them. But I mean, there's a specifically defined team with a specific set of skill sets. They have reports. They're pulling big data. They're sweeping usage. They look at how much money you're making in a zone. They look at ratios of money per level. Let's just say that I may or may not have appeared on a couple of reports back in the CBT areas when I found some economy bugs. I report them eventually. Now, I mean, I really did. I like to test them to make sure that they're truly a bug. So, like, I had like 1.2 million work orders. Then I reported a bug. And funny, there's not enough spaces.
You couldn't stop at 1 million?
I wanted to see if I rolled over 999,000, what that would do to the character hold. Yeah, it doesn't hold 1 million very well in your character currency thing. I did a write-up on it once. I found it enough. So I mean, but there's a balance team whose sole job is looking at. So I'm hoping that by having a team not just react but anticipate and work with people like us and other people who play, that they're going to be able to pivot faster, look for new malfeasance, cut that one off. I hate to say it, hail Hydra. You cut one, like 2 gold farmers grow, but the trick is just keep cutting.
Right.
Eventually, their patterns will emerge. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see how the balance team works on it, because there's a lot of things we don't know about high volume usage.
Yeah, the whole discussion about how the servers like self-repair themselves and self-come up was just fascinating to me, because I'm from an era of, the server's down. Well, I'm gonna go to McDonald's to get a burger because it'll take them about 30 minutes to get them back up. I mean, and Guild Wars 2 kind of did something similar. They had like that live update where you could still play while the game was patching itself and everything, but you still had to relog the game for it to take effect. So I think this is kind of like the next generation of like the way servers are going to work, and it's really cool to see Carbine kind of leading the way in that. It's something that I think will put them on the map in terms of like MMO technology. I'm curious to see if EverQuest Next is going to do this, if Star Citizen, maybe ArcAge is going to pick this kind of stuff up. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that works. Shriggs, did you have anything that you took away from the live stream or the VOD?
Tony, get your casual ass away from my video game. But no, I honestly didn't see too much that was new. I did like the idea of, what was it called? They did name their little group. What was the name of it? I'm gonna write a comic about it.
Awesome.
Expect it.
Excellent. Speaking of which, we will be launching the first 2 panels of our Wildstar comic that is completely fan made, lore fan made. It's all made up. Just unless like we're completely predicting like lore or something, and Pappy's like, hey, you guys can't show this, or because that'll totally happen. But the first week will be the first week of launch, so that'll be this coming Tuesday, and the second panel will be released the following Tuesday. So look forward to that on our website, which is going to be awesome. Shriggs is illustrating and writing everything himself, because he's awesome like that. And anyway, kind of a side note there. Apparently, we can blame Cougar if the server goes down, which I think is very appropriate that we have someone to blame. One thing I took away from this, 2 things actually, was multi-boxing. They pretty much said #nope, #ain't gonna happen, try it, Jack, we dare you. Unless
you have 3 arms.
Yeah, and unless you have like 6 different people playing all at once or something. But they specifically said that you cannot have a program that you press F and it goes and presses F to all the other accounts that you have. And this is actually going to not net them as much money as they would have been able to, because a lot of people do multi-boxing. But the reason they're doing this is gold farmers. Because this is how gold farmers get loot, is they multi-box like 16 accounts at once, go to some stupid place and just farm things for hours and hours. So I think this is a huge kind of pat on the back to the community, and Carbine saying, you know what? We respect you guys too much to allow this to happen. Go ahead, Anhrez.
Yeah, as I say, for every high ender that it offends, there are 700 casuals, 300 mediums, and a good 50 hardcores. They're like, fine, multi-boxing means nothing to me, but if it keeps balance in the game, so be it. So I think it really comes down to just consistency, and so far they've erred on the side of overall consistency for the game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So.
No, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Rusty, when you heard about the multi-box kind of ban, were you surprised at all, or did you think that they were gonna do this outright?
No, I thought for sure that we would see something like this. It's usually against terms of agreement, or terms of service, I suppose. But the way they're handling it is very interesting.
Right.
'Cause, I mean, I've been on Blizzard servers where there was one guy who had 4 characters who sat inside themselves.
Oh yeah.
And he'd walk through and just multi-kill everything.
Well, Blizzard doesn't
So
care.
it's
It's free
interesting.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to spend $240 a month, do whatever you want.
Just on a side note here, I used to multi-box EVE Online.
Well, that's EVE.
You're a
though.
monster.
That's
Only way to
completely
play the
different.
game.
That's
So you can solo people because you have 2 accounts and you can PvP against one person and you're just you.
But EVE's more about farming and hitting little planets with lasers than.
I think you have not played EVE.
No, I haven't because it looks extremely boring.
It's not. It's about PvP.
Okay.
EVE Online is
Also
PvP.
about 500 million players.
Yeah. It's 500,000.
I know. I'm
actually.
just messing with you, dude. Come on. We love you for being a crazy nerd. It's all good. It's okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, have fun. Let's see. No set downtime for maintenance, i.e., weekly. They prefer.
That's kind of nice.
They prefer to deploy patches on Thursdays or Tuesdays. But they specifically said that they're going to monitor it for like a month and kind of see when the best time to do that is, which I can only assume. For some reason, every MMO does it on Tuesdays, and I cannot figure out why they do that. Anhrez or Tyramish, you guys have any inkling as to why they do it on Tuesdays and just kind of follow Blizzard's thing? Anhrez, do you think it's just like a...
Really? Okay, obviously you were not watching the stream. So they don't like to do it on Mondays because Mondays suck. Mondays are the day that
Mondays
you come
already
to work,
having a bad
and not
enough day.
everybody makes it on Mondays, and it's not
Mondays
the best
can be a
day.
holiday,
It's a holiday.
3-day weekend, yeah.
So Tuesdays almost never have those issues, and you're already into work and you're already into things. So, but they need enough time for the rest of the week, so they actually have the ability to debug an issue if they
Tune
want
it before
to.
the weekend, which is high pop.
Pop. Yeah, and then, so what they do is they release it on Tuesday, and then slowly the people through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday test the game, and by Friday they've either released a patch or a fix if there's an issue, or there aren't any issues, and that gives them the ability to kind of walk their way through. So that's why it's done on Tuesdays. And that's why it's done on Tuesdays on
a lot of
EVE
your
Online.
banking sites, who do home banking,
Yeah,
bill
Tuesdays
payment,
is the big
all
day.
of them
Monday night.
Tuesdays is a really big cycle. You know, it usually is a big cycle because it allows that type of window.
Yeah, if things happen, you're not coming in on the weekend to fix it.
Right. Our Wolf said in chat because everyone's still hungover on Monday, which is very, very true. I mean, I know I'm completely hungover every Monday because I go drinking all the time, which is just so great. Anyway,
He's such a lush.
shut
Yeah.
up.
Then he comes on Skype and yells at all of us.
Yeah, I know.
I do.
You can see him in his camera.
Very
He's
mean
like
to his
swinging
employees.
wine everywhere, and
Pants are on his head. It's terrible.
yeah.
So last question, guys. What are you guys all eating for lunch? What are you guys doing? So are you? I'm doing Healthy Gamer. I'm doing a bunch of
Grinds for gamers. Yep.
People ask me, Jay, why are you doing this? I'm like going, well, I put together a series of foods that don't need to be refrigerated that I can eat ongoing for 12 hours and not have to worry about it. So
That's a good
it's a sheer laziness. The ratio of drinks will mean that I can pull a camel and not even have to leave for a bio break. It's planned that specifically that I've got 12 hours straight of gaming before my first break.
I'll probably have some plain potato chips. Like I like the regular, oil and salt.
Gross.
But it's
Why?
good. So
That's
good. Like Miss
so
Vicky's, like just
nasty.
You touch
crunchy.
your,
No,
you
it's so
touch your
good.
keyboard. No.
Yeah, you know what? But that's for snacking in the middle of the night. For the most part, I think I'll end up having probably a kale salad or something like that, and then maybe do some kind of chicken, something with high carbs, but not eat a ton of it, because then I won't be really hungry for most of the time.
Right. Shriggs, what about you? Pizza rolls and Pepsi?
Crawfish boil.
Gross.
Oh.
Nice.
That's actually really good. I would be down
That's
with that.
the
Dude.
gift that keeps on giving too.
Are you
Oh,
gonna
hell yeah.
Are you gonna share some of that? I'd be down for some crawfish. Oh,
I'm barely use some of my crawfish.
that sounds like a good plan.
Rusty, how about yourself?
I'm doing. I just started paleo with a bunch of people, so everything will be very paleo friendly.
What is that?
So it's probably going to be. You can only eat meat, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and berries. So it'll probably be lots of dried cranberries, lots of almonds and pistachios.
Nice. I'm probably gonna be eating a lot of chicken and rice personally, because I'm starting to eat healthy again. So I'm eating a lot of chicken, rice, and vegetables. So, but I'll probably have a thing of orange juice next to my computer and just chug that all day. So, whatever. I don't know.
Oh wait, actually, I thought of something even better.
Oh no! Please no.
Yes, yes. For the Wildstar launch, I shall become a breatharian.
What's a breatharian?
It's a
Eating
group of
breath.
people who believe they can survive by just breathing air and getting nutrients from air. And there are actual people who do this and have starved to death from it.
That's amazing. Well,
Yes.
all right.
So
So,
I'll be a breatharian for a few days.
all right. So we are coming up to the end of the show, and as always, we are always graciously sent the next slew of patch notes by Stephen Frost himself every week. So, Shriggs, what have we been told this week for the patch notes?
Yes. Well, we have something very interesting this week. According to this letter he sent me, to ensure WildStar is perfect for patches to come, we need to do one last round of testing. From what we've shown, we have nailed down the majority of bugs and problems that bother players in the beta, but it's not perfect. So in order to ensure everything is perfect, for the first month of beta, we'll be reverting the game to an earlier build.
Okay.
Let's see if... Now, the game is now as it is in 2011. The telegraph system is removed. Gotta get that wild part right before we can nail down action combat.
Okay. That's different.
Yep.
All right.
Now, raids have been... I mean, what raids?
Okay. So no raids at launch then.
No.
Okay. All right.
The Engineer, Shua, and Mortish race have been removed and are secrets again. Don't tell anyone!
Okay.
You just rolled back 3 months?
Yeah.
We're rolling back 4 years, man.
That's gonna be hard, but okay.
Tab targeting.
Tab
just
targeting.
for you.
Just
Yep.
okay. Interesting. All right.
So, the UI no
Phishing is
longer
it.
exists. Get on it, add-on community.
Oh gosh, it's ESO. No.
Yep.
Okay. So, any class balance changes or anything? Just.
Yes, I do believe I have some on class balance. Let's see here. Here we go. All classes and quests are basically unplayable. Only a few quests actually work, and balance is 7 different shades of broken.
That's some
Wow.
very vague patch notes, but okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
no, you'll understand it when you play it. Freaking medics.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that is a very interesting slew of patch notes, Shriggs.
No, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
You asked me for a lot of patch notes. I'm gonna give you a bunch.
Okay.
So go to all of them.
Okay.
I'm actually literally mad that you were gonna end the show before I finish these things.
No.
You're gonna make Shriggs cry.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
This is your fault.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, remember how there was those cool and open levels, the ones we're supposed to get between level 25 and 30 at launch?
Uh-huh.
We're not gonna have them.
No.
There's not gonna be close. There's gonna be a giant barrier blocking you from getting into them. You'll still be able to look at them from afar, though.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's nice.
All right. So, what else do we have?
War plots. Raids.
Okay. So, any major changes to the war plot, Shriggs? No.
They don't exist anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Can't change
unfortunate.
them any more than that.
Okay, so how are they going to handle housing then? Is housing going to be pretty much non-existent as well?
I'll give it to that. First off, Quality Temple is reverted to its original size, which was actually half the size of the version in the closed beta client. So it's even smaller than that.
Oh gosh, that's not going to
Yeah.
end well.
Now, housing, gone. Auction house, gone. Rival system, gone. All the lore in the game, gone. Greg in accounting actually accidentally deleted all the files. We gotta rewrite that crap. Sorry.
So is that means we have to rely on Pappy to like remember everything he wrote down first?
That's
Nope.
it. Launch.
You'll be in
launch
trade
push,
chat relaying all the quest text.
launch push to 2015.
Oy vey. All right. Well, anything else, Shriggs?
With that, we are done. Have fun grinding enemies because good luck turning in quests.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. The official patch notes for launch. I hope that we all are able to really enjoy the UI-less game, and that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully, the add-on community can get on there and hopefully give us a working UI. And to all the hardcore guilds that were expecting raiding, sorry about your luck. It looks like crafting is going to be the #1 thing to do at hardcore endgame. Anhrez is happy.
Absolutely. Nailed it.
What rage, Baz?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, so Anhrez, thank you very much for being on the show, dude. I do appreciate it. And once again, the website that you are a part of, or being forced to be a part of, is wildstarfans.net, I believe.
WildStarFans.net, and keep a track. You can follow me at Anhrez
Okay.
on Twitter. But there'll be some big announcements of a couple other website stuff coming out in the next week or so. I really think the community is going to love them. I'm enjoying them already. I've been all over them, adding content like mad, and I especially think this group is going to find them extremely fun and entertaining. And I look forward to your guys' ideas when you guys get access to this site.
Very cool. Very cool. I do look forward to seeing all that stuff. Now, would it be safe to say that they have something to do with crafting?
No, well, kind of
What?
in an obscure sort of way.
Okay.
In an obscure sort of way, but it's broad and specific.
Oh my
and
goodness.
lots of fun.
That's awesome.
So
Looking forward to it.
I'm really excited because it's going to be one of those things where it's addictive. It's to go, it is kind of fun to go out to the site and take a look and,
Awesome.
and see what's going on and move some stuff up. And so it's going to be ones where you don't have to be a writer, you don't have to be a high-end crafter to create content to put into this community, and the community is going to enjoy whatever everyone shares. So I'm really excited for you guys to take a look at it.
Awesome, dude. Cannot wait. Cannot wait at all. Shriggs, Tyramus, and Rusty, thank you very much for being hosts on the show. You can follow Shriggs at Shriggs, Tyramus at Tyramus, and at Rusty. I
actually use Twitter, by the way.
Yeah. Rusty, what is your Twitter handle since you...
every month or so.
It's at CMRD Red.
Oh, why did you have to be complicated and special?
Well,
couldn't get Rusty, I've been trying.
we asked you to change it on the overlay so they could read it, but you kept saying no because you were lazy.
Yeah, that's okay.
Put up with bogus reasons.
Shut up. All right.
Bogus.
Shut up.
Bogus reason.
Bogus, man.
Like that overlay you were gonna do 2 days ago.
You know what? Bite me. All right, you can follow me
Shots
on Twitter.
fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
You can follow me on Twitter at Bazile. Please check out our website at Challenge Accepted, no E's and Accepted. Follow us on Twitter at Challenge Failed, and we now have our Facebook finally up. Facebook.com / at be Challenge Accepted with no E's and Accepted because we're special like that. But next week we are going to hang on. Let me just check my calendar, make sure I get the right date here.
Too busy playing WildStar. Show's canceled.
Yeah, sorry.
So the 12th, we're going to be having Chief Sarkhan on to talk about the game.
You guys are He makes me seem like a casual in
Really?
gaming data. He is that high strung. It's awesome though.
Very cool.
I really enjoy listening to him. I love watching his streams. We do a lot of data swapping for crafting and economy stuff. You guys, he's a great guest.
Awesome.
I'll
Very
make sure
cool.
I watch the show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He's been a really cool guy to follow on Twitter. Of course, he writes for MMORPG.com, so that's going to be really cool to have kind of someone that really actually legitimately works in this business to kind of give us his perspective on the game. And it'll be a week after launch, so it'll give us a good time to kind of fill his head with a lot of questions. But Anhrez, thank you so much for being on the show. We do really appreciate it. And once again, check out wildstarfans.net for everything awesome. They do more articles than you can shake a fist at. Our Wolf, Anhrez, and the rest of the team just doing a fantastic job over there. But don't forget to check out our website as well. We do some articles, and every once in a while we do some cool videos and stuff. Shriggs, why do you have tools that can hurt you? That's just every time.
I don't know. I found my third X-Acto knife, and I also found my paper cutter. See?
That's great.
Look at how I'm showing how it works.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. All
I
right.
slide it like this.
Anyway,
Slide
all right,
like
guys, that's
this.
it. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. God bless. Take care. See you in Nexus in 2 days. Also, make sure to follow our Twitter for the server that we're going to be on. It's either going to be one of the 3 PvP servers. Whatever we pick.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
At Challenge Failed.
At Challenge.
Bye.
Bye.